Hey, Michael with XForcePC. You might be wondering, what am I doing back here behind the simulator? Well, that's because I want to give you an idea of scale. So I'm about 6 feet, 6'1", and I'm standing flat-footed back here. And so when I come out in front of the system to talk about it some more, it's going to seem smaller because I'm closer to the camera. But I just kind of want to give you an idea of scale. This is a 60-inch TV, and that's what we have all the way around here. And we have the TVs at near 90-degree angles. We have to angle them out slightly, otherwise you'd never be able to see what was on them. But normally you'd want to keep those monitors or TVs in kind of tight. It's kind of a wild ride there. Keep the monitors in kind of tight, close to a 90-degree angle. So now I'll come around to the front and talk about it some more. Hey, Michael with XForcePC. We are now around on the other side of the simulator. And so I just kind of want to go over what we've got here. So displaying the scenery and the wings and the fuselage, we have three 60-inch televisions. They're 1080p. And those you would provide. We're not really in the TV business, so we recommend 60 to 65-inch televisions for this application. Now they're sitting on some TV stands, and I have a separate video on the TV stands, but they're real robust TV stands, but they're not crazy expensive, so they're really good for what they cost. And they let you move them around, roll them around, rearrange them if you need to clean or whatever. You can just roll the TVs all around the room. So those do come with the system, and then of course we have the Valera Cockpit, and we've removed the triple monitor stand from the Valera Cockpit so that we can put these larger screens here, and these screens, surround us. So when we look to the left, we look to the right, all we see is scenery or the inside of the cockpit or whatever it is we want to see. We have the Valera Sim avionics panel here. It may be a little hard to see everything that we have on the avionics panel, but we have a multi-panel, which is for the autopilot. It also has a flaps up and down and a pitch trim. We have two radio panels, which can control up to 4 radios, because each radio panel can do 2 radios. We have a switch panel over here, which has a dedicated landing gear. It has switches for the battery and the avionics. And of course the phone rings. It also has switches for landing lights and things like that. I mentioned the Valera Cockpit, so all this sits on the tray that comes with the Valera Cockpit. And of course we have a Scitech ProFlight yoke, which you probably can't see. That comes with the system. This system is compatible with the Yoke yoke, which is a much more expensive yoke. This is about a $170 yoke. The Yoke yoke is a $1,000 yoke. So, it's possible you'd want to consider that yoke at some point. It's an all-metal yoke versus a plastic yoke. We also have some Scitech ProFlight pedals, and we also have 2 throttle quadrants here to give us a total of 6 levers. And the way I have it configured, I don't know if you can see it. I don't believe you can, but I've got 2 black, 2 blue, and 2 red for doing twin engine setup. The iPads that we have here do not come with the system. We're not a reseller of iPads, so you would have to get the iPads. So to reiterate the things that don't come with the system, it does not come with the 2 iPads, it does not come with the 60-inch TVs. Last but not least is a super high-end gaming system. We have a gaming system that has the fastest gaming CPU in it and the fastest gaming graphics card. So we have an i7 7700K running at 4.6 gigahertz. We have an NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti graphics card with 11 gigs of video memory, dedicated video memory. We also have 32 gigs of system memory, so you won't have any trouble there. And we've got a 500 gig SSD, that's a solid state hard drive. And so the SSD is really good for load times. Windows will boot quickly, X-Plane will load quickly. It won't improve frame rate, the SSD, but it makes things load quicker. So it's a really, really nice gaming system, pretty much the fastest gaming system you can build. That's what you're going to want when you want to show all these buildings off. And that's ForeFlight you hear talking there. And you can see we've got the New York scenery installed. This is some aftermarket scenery. It has tons of buildings and so forth. You can see we're getting really good frame rate. Now, another thing that's unique about this system is we're not using NVIDIA Surround here to do these monitors. We've got 3 individual views of X-Plane, and I can see the Statue of Liberty over here. But we're not smearing the image across 3 screens. And that's kind of what you do with NVIDIA Surround. We're rendering each window individually, and that's handled within X-Plane. We give you the directions on how to do that. It's not hard to do at all. It's actually probably easier than the NVIDIA Surround setup. But what you get is an undistorted view of the scenery. So, you know, with NVIDIA Surround, the front would always look nice, but the sides would look real kind of fish-eyed. Well, with this setup, the side screens look just as good as the front screen. And I will mention again that these side screens are at an extreme angle, so they may not look all that great to you. But trust me, they look just as good as this front one. It's just, you know, when you look at an LCD at an extreme angle, they don't look quite as good. But when you're seated in the proper position here, everything looks perfect.